and it's time to go to sleep. We have the sleeper picks. We have our five best sleeper picks. And then we got a little dart throw that we're going to throw at you. And I will let you get started. And we're going same thing, 5-1. And I'll let you get started with your number five.
I appreciate that. My number five, Taj Felton, Maryland, wide receiver for the Vikings. Look, he is a vertical threat. He's a big kid. I think he's one of those guys you can kind of get in the late rounds. It's going to slide. You take him, throw him on your bench. Because, look, I know they got Justin Jefferson. I know they got Addison. But after that, there's kind of a mishmash of, okay, who's going to be the third guy? This kid right here is a stud wide receiver coming out of Maryland. I live close to Maryland. Got to see him a lot, man. He is ultra talented. He is tall. He is a vertical threat. He's got speed to burn. So they're going to be worried about Justin Jefferson. This kid's going to be open. So he is my sleeper to get you guys some points out there, especially if someone gets hurt, tweak something here and there, has to sit out maybe a week. He's the guy to put in.
That is very well. And I'm sure, excuse me, not a lot of people have heard of Felton. I'm a big college guy, so I have definitely heard of a lot of these names. But for an average fan, Felton is a name that you don't hear a whole lot of. Yep. And at Maryland, he kind of was, that number one receiver. He's not the fastest, I don't think. He's not going to blaze, he's not going to burn you over the top or anything like that. But he's a really good route runner, and he is a big body wide receiver. So that is a very good fifth ranked sleeper from our man Jason.
Who you got?
I'm going to go with a wide receiver myself, and he's a big body wide receiver. I'm going Dante Thornton Jr., who went to the Raiders out of Tennessee, 6'5", 4.3 speed. I know the Raiders aren't going to throw a lot, and they drafted Jack Beck in the second round, and they got Brock Bowers, and they got Ashton Jeanty. But back to Bryce Young and Ted McMillan, this guy is 6'5". Just lob it, like Chris Paul used to do to Blake Griffin for the Los Angeles Clippers, just lob city.
Right.
I like Thornton. He's not going to be like fantastic, but he could be a wide receiver that a bye week fill in can come in, get you maybe 6 to 10 points. I know it's not a lot, but for a sleeper pick, that is a decent amount of value. And you could probably, he's still available, probably maybe in the third, fourth, fifth rounds of these rookie drafts. And he could be a guy that comes in and just, he's going to be a bye week fill-in for sure. But don't sleep on him. He could be, 6'5". I would think red zone targets. So
I like that. My number 4, I'm going to hit you with a quarterback because there is going to be some sleeper quarterbacks in there. And we talked about that Colts team. And Anthony Richardson has kind of been playing underwhelming football. He tends to get hurt a lot. So Riley Leonard out of Notre Dame, he's a good rusher. He's a halfway decent passer. He has great completion percentage. Over 66% of his passes he completed last year for Notre Dame. So you talk about a quarterback sleeper, someone, again, you talk about a handcuff. If you pick up Richardson and you're just not sold on him, you want to make sure you have someone in the stables just in case. Riley Leonard, watch out for him coming up on the outside there in Indianapolis.
Oh, that is actually really good. And I didn't even think to do a quarterback in my sleepers. I'm not going to lie. So shout out to Jason for really thinking this out and being like, hey, I'm going to put a quarterback in here. And I do apologize. I was wrong. It's not Curtis Rourke. It was Riley Leonard at the Colts, so I did make a mistake on that. And for that, my bad. Riley Leonard, the only thing that scared me about him at Notre Dame was in the championship. They were just trying to run the ball in Ohio State. So, that told me that maybe Notre Dame didn't trust him. So I don't know what is happening there. But
that's just Notre Dame choking at the big game. They tend to do that a lot here. So I'm not putting that against them, unfortunately.
Okay, okay.
Shots thrown.
So my number 4 is going to be another wide receiver. A lot of wide receiver sleepers here because this running back class is so deep that there could be an argument made that we had our top 5, but like even some players that we didn't list could easily be a top 5. So like when I say a sleeper, like I'm trying to think like a sleeper, and that is Alec Ayarmaner for the Titans, the wide receiver from Stanford.
Mm.
You know, they Cam Ward's got to throw to somebody, and I feel like they did take him kind of early. So for me, he's 6'2", ran a 4.4. He ran a 4.4440. Wow, that is a tongue twister and a half. He does sit behind Tyler Lockett and Calvin Ridley, but they're aging vets. So, beyond this season, Tennessee's really going to need playmakers to step up. And I look for this guy to step in, at 6'2", being a nice big body wide receiver on the outside. He's not going to burn you per se, but he is going to stretch the field just enough. And I think this could be a wide receiver that will be a playmaker for Cam Ward next season and beyond. So I like Alec Ayermanner. I think that's how you say it.
I like it. I'm going to go number 3. Guys, I don't know if he's going to be a sleeper, but man, you better pick him up, man. Jalen Royals, wide receiver out of Utah State for the Chiefs. Now, you talk about falling into an offense where you're going to immediately succeed. Patrick Mahomes, again, you talk about someone that can please catch the football. Patrick Mahomes, tons of guys dropping passes last year. Tons of guys hurt. Rice hurt. You have Hollywood Brown on that team, but he's always hurt. I like Stasy-worthy, but he's not really a number 1. He's kind of that gadget guy, kind of out of the backfield. You kind of do a fancy, Andy Reid does them fancy plays. He's in there. So watch Jalen Royals succeed in that offense. I think he's going to be a stud with Patrick Mahomes at the helm. So Jalen Royals, you probably can pick him up later rounds, have him hiding there, and then when he hits and you put him in your starting lineup and all of a sudden he hits and everybody wonders like, wow, there you go. Jalen Royals, man. You heard it here.
Jason with a dagger. We're in overtime, guys, and Jason's over here hitting threes, all right? So my number 3 is the teammate of your number 2 wide receiver, and I'm going with Jalen Noel, wide receiver from Iowa State.
Wow.
And the Texans did something really interesting in this draft. They drafted both Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins. Now, if you've been following the show since around the Senior Bowl, then you have heard me say Jaden Higgins is a name to keep an eye on. And like I did say, I have him as my wide receiver 6. Now, Noel has potential to be a great sleeper pick in rookie drafts this season. Many people are sleeping on Noel, myself included. I am on that bandwagon of sleeping, okay? So 80 catches, almost 1,200 yards, and 8 touchdowns with Higgins still doing what Higgins did at Iowa State last season. Stephon Diggs left in free agency. Tank Dell's likely to miss the 2025 season. And like you said, his career might be done. They drafted him for a reason. Now it's kind of interesting because now you have two wide receivers that were teammates in college. They get to be teammates in the NFL. And what better way to have both of them get acclimated with the NFL than be opposite side of each other and catching balls from C.J. Stroud. Sleep on him. Don't sleep on him. I was sleeping on him until just here recently, so don't sleep on Jalen Noel anymore, though, guys. Take him as early as you can.
That's a really, really good pick. That's a solid pick, man. That's why that Texans offense is going to be that much better as they got really better in the draft here. My number 2, I'm going running back. It hurts me because I can't really talk about the Dallas Cowboys because as a Giants fan, it kind of gives me a little heartburn here. But Jaden Blue, running back for the Cowboys, I think is going to have a really, really impactful season. I think he's going to make some noise in fantasy football. Look, they got you Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, and Deuce Vaughn. So again, not a lot at the top to go over. So Blue, I like him. I know the Cowboys didn't want to spend money on Henry, and that I think that's a sore subject to a lot of Cowboys fans out there. But I like this. I
Sorry,
like this
Matt.
kid. I like this kid, my boy Blue. I think he's going to be good for the Dallas Cowboys, except when he's playing the Giants in that front four. But that's a whole nother story. We won't talk about that. But Aiden Blue, I think you'll be able to pick him up in late rounds, guys. You need running back depth in
Yes.
fantasy football because these guys, they get hurt, they go down. Look at midway through the season, man, how many starters tend to go out or how many guys get hurt, and you need that handcuff. You need the handcuff for the handcuff because even the secondary guys, I mean, look how many guys went down for San Francisco last year. They literally were pulling people out of the stands to play running back. That's how bad they were. So I think he's going to be a heck of a pickup right there. Stash him on your bench. Make sure somebody else doesn't get him. Go get him.
Jaden Blue, and I talked about him and actually Phil Maffa on a previous show when I was actually grading and talking about all the NFL teams' picks. And him paired with Maffa kind of has that thunder and lightning approach. Maffa has that power back with Jaden Blue, 4.3 speed. He's not the he's not the strongest back out there, but Dallas has a great line. And he's going to get to that edge real quick, and I like for him, and I think he can catch out of the backfield, so that's a good pick. And I'm not going to lie, I was kind of sleeping on him until recently too. So don't sleep on Jaden Blue. My number 2, we're going to stay running back. My first running back sleeper, guys, and that is Devin Neal, running back for the Saints. Honestly, if Alvin Kamara wasn't there, Devin Neal has potential to be a top 5 back in this year's rookie class.
I like that.
But he's a great compliment to Kamara. I think in Kellen Moore's system, he's going to come in, be productive, running back out of Kansas, set some records there. And he's not going to burn you per se, but he's a bruiser. I mean, he's gonna knock you over. And, he had 3 straight seasons over 1,000 yards rushing. So maybe a lot of people don't know who Devin Neal is because he played for Kansas in the Big 12. Don't sleep on him. And if you have Alvin Kamara, who is out the door, he's on his final leg, so to speak.
Right.
Go handcuff Devin Neal because then when he goes down, you still have a running back, Handcuffs are definitely great, especially if you can get him in the later rounds. So I really like Devin Neal, and he is my second-ranked sleeper pick.
I like it. That's a really good one. You got to have the Saints need some help, so he has the opportunity to make an instant impact there, especially fantasy football wise. My number 1, I'm still going running back. Bashul Tunton. Running back out of Virginia Tech. I live here in Virginia, and I got to watch this kid a lot, man. This kid, Tunton, is a stud. He is going to come out of nowhere. Look, he's going to Jacksonville. Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne were horrible. They were the number 36 and number 35 running backs last year. And they never cracked 15 points, either one of them. So right now, Jacksonville is dying for a good running back, someone to come in. So this kid, Tunton, is going to come in and make an instant impact in Jacksonville. Watch him run the football and take the starting position job from both of those guys because neither one of them were impressive last year. I have a feeling that one may be released. I have a feeling one may be traded at some point in time. So I like him. If you can, Bashil Tunton, I know I'm saying his name wrong, but again, the kid out of Virginia Tech, man, you can't beat it. He is going to be a starter in the NFL, and he's going to get some value. So, again, if you have ETN, he's a great handcuff to have, man. So, I like him better over Tank Bigsby as the handcuff in fantasy football.
Bayshaw Tootin, whatever his name is, it doesn't matter. King Bayshul, okay, because I've been kind of big on this guy since the Senior Bowl. And at the combine, he ran I think it was a 4.37. No, 4.32. Sorry. He ran a 4.32 40. That's fast. Okay, he makes fast guys not look so fast. And
Right.
with Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr., on the outside and kind of really just taking those corners and those safeties down the field, that's going to open up a lot of running lanes for, Tootin. I'm gonna say Tootin. I think it is Tutton, but yeah, we're going to go Tutton. Um, I think that opens up a lot of running lanes for him because I think defenses are going to be mindful of Travis Hunter running out there. They're going to be mindful of Brian Thomas Jr. And
Yep.
they're not going to want to get burnt deep. So they're going to probably drop an extra guy back in coverage, and that's going to open up an extra running lane. And he gets in the open field, and you're going to have a hard time catching him. 4.3 speed. So I really like that. That's a great sleeper pick. And that was your number one, yeah?
My number one. Who you got number one?
All right, number one for me, man, I have been big on this guy. And I know I sound like a broken record here, guys, but I've been big. So my season doesn't end when the Super Bowl ends. My season doesn't end when the national championship ends. It honestly just kind of begins really for me because, you got the scouting combine, you got Senior Bowl, you got all this off-season stuff, and
Right.
I really pay attention to a lot of it. And I watched the Senior Bowl. I was watching the practices. Kyle Williams from Washington State gets drafted by the Patriots. Now, some people are overlooking Williams because of Stephon Diggs. They see Stephon Diggs and like, oh, we can't take Williams. And I'm going to tell you, Stephon Diggs is an aging vet, and he's out the door, okay? Kyle Williams, he's not the biggest. I think he stands at like 5'11", but, you don't need him to. He does run really good routes, and he has strong hands for a wide receiver. And at wide receiver, that's what you want. You want a receiver with strong hands. I think he learns from Stephon Diggs, and it's going to be Drake May and Kyle Williams just lighting up the stat sheet for years to come.
I like that. That's a great pick, man. They definitely need that wide receiver help in New England. Drake May is going to need a big play guy there in New England. So I definitely like that pick. Now we're going to jump into the long shot, because, fantasy football, sometimes you got to go with your gut feeling. You got to go with your long shot. So I'm going to jump in here and give you guys my long shot here. Brashard Smith. I'm jumping in with my long shot, my man Tim. So I'm giving you my big dart throw, although I don't think he's going to be that big of a dart throw. Brashard Smith at SMU in Kansas City.
Kansas
City Chiefs were hurting at running back last year. Isaiah Pacheco injured. They didn't really use him towards the end of the season. You have Mr. Steele, which I don't think he's a top running back at all. Elijah Mitchell. Look at Kareem Hunt. They focused on, using him last year. So I think Brashard Smith coming out of SMU has an opportunity to be the starting running back for the Kansas City Chiefs. So he's a little bit of a dart throw. He's got some guys to climb over, but I think he has that opportunity right now, and I think he has that talent coming out of SMU, going to that Kansas City Chiefs offense. Watch out. That's my dart throw right there.
Woo! That's a good one. That's a good one. And I can see where that could be considered a dart throw because, he is in Kansas City, behind Pacheco, behind Kareem Hunt, all those wide receivers. Like, that is honestly a great pick. Great pick. I honestly, he could have easily been a top ranked sleeper, even a top 5. I mean, not in this class, but like if Rashad Smith was in a different class, he would easily be like a top 5 running back in the rookie class. So Great pick. Closing it out there. And I'm going to give you my dart throw, and we're going to stay on the running backs. The running backs are finally getting some love from your boy here. And I'm going to get some heat on this one. We're blazing on this one, okay? Like, call me out if you want to. That's fine. Let me know in the comments. Find me on the socials. Wherever you follow, however you listen, let me know because I can promise you nobody is talking about this guy. And that is Ollie Gordon, Miami. Okay, he's a Dolphin, and there's a lot of running backs there, and there's Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. But he's a bruiser, okay? And they already lost Mostart, and Jalen Wright isn't a power back. He's more of a speed back. They
Right.
needed that power back. They got a power back in Ollie Gordon. He's not going to run over you. In fact, I think he ran like a 4.6 140 at the combine. Not going to blaze in the open field. But I'm going to tell you, he is a bruiser. And if he can return to the form of 2023, last year, we're not going to hold that against Ollie Gordon. That was a crappy team from the start. And he played on the Oklahoma State Cowboys in college football. And the bad quarterback play, no offensive line. But I'm going to tell you, here in Miami with Josh is it Josh McDaniels? No,
No, who's there in Miami? I can't.
not Josh. It's Mike.
I know. Mike. No,
It's
not Mike.
Mike.
What the heck is his name there? Now you got me thinking here. I can't remember. Here, Dolphins quarterback or Dolphins coach.
Mike McDaniels.
My name's Mike McDaniel. Yep, there we go.
Yeah. So our boy Mike here, he's going to scheme up some plays, and like I said, the best way to win fantasy matchups is touchdowns. And I look for Ollie Gordon to really kind of be in the packages right there on the goal line. You know, maybe he's a fullback, maybe they run like two running backs and he gets the ball, but he's going to be that bruiser, just kind of smash mouth style to kind of really give the Dolphins some of those touchdowns. So that is my dart throw. I don't know. I mean, he might not even make the team, but he currently right now he is my dart throw. So I like it. You had a great one. Let us know whose call you got.